Okay, so I'm gonna use the same piece of paper because we still have some space here and I don't want to waste any more trees than we already are wasting. So what we're gonna talk about now is how to sketch this or any cube without having to set up this perspective horizon line with the vanishing points and all of that. So same thing here as we did with the cup. We want to think of the cube as think of the outlines of the cube first and in what perspective you want to visualize it in. So and then after that we kind of want to put down what we know now. So we know that a cube has a plane on top, right? That's the top, this part right here. So from here we know that if it goes in perspective down, that means that it goes to a vanishing point that's down here somewhere. That's down here outside of the paper. And these 2 points from here and here should point to this point down here. And what does that mean? It means that it will go something like this. The lines. So the thing here is that it does not have to be perfect. We're just putting the lines out very gently. So if we happen to make a mistake, for this example, this looks more like a curve, we can always go back and fix it up later on and no one is ever gonna notice. But you still save a lot of time doing this way, putting it down this way, than you would setting up an entire grid line. And from here, we want to create the base. And as we know, these 2 lines goes to a vanishing point somewhere here up in the sun. So that means that they're gonna be tilted this way. And same for these ones, they're gonna be tilted that way. So they end up in a vanishing point that's up here somewhere. So if this top line has that angle, the bottom line here needs to tilt a bit more upwards towards this corner to get it right in perspective. And that's about it. That's how I prefer to sketch in perspective. Even though it does not get perfect, you would get a more perfect result if you use this technique and a ruler every single time. But I mean, how fun is it to sketch like that? I don't think it's intuitive, and it looks kind of like a what are those called? Like a 3D CAD drawing with no life to it. So the sketch ends up looking kind of almost lifeless. And I like to have some life in my sketches, and they don't definitely have to be perfect, as long as you can communicate what it is you're sketching, you're fine. And if there are any imperfections, so that's just makes the sketch more beautiful, in my opinion. Because if something is too perfect, it just gets boring because it's too predictable. So we want to make some mistakes. And then you can start to shade, I mean, if you want to. Now we have the sun apparently coming from here. I didn't even think of that. Because I already started to shade this, so this should be surface number 1. And let's put number 2 there, and number 3 here. And this is the brightest area. And then we have number 2, which I can shade as well, just to show you guys. And now if we need number 3 to be a bit darker than number 2, we can cross shade. Unless we have markers, of course. If we have markers, we can just doodle some marker, cool gray there, cool gray here, and cool gray there. So that's my way of sketching in perspective. I think it's more fun. It's not as academical or whatever as this version. Although this version is great, as I said, if you're just starting out. It's perfect to start with this. Once you get a hang of this, it would be cool if you just tried this technique out, because you might think, like me, that it's way more fun to sketch like this. Who knows? I just wanted to show you guys this technique anyway. So now let's talk about sketching some more complex shapes in perspective using this technique.